Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Victoria Montefusco and I am a lover of all things makeup, especially eyeshadow, especially indie makeup, especially sparkly makeup, all that fun stuff. So today I'm going to be providing you a list of the makeup products that were the ones that got away. These are limited edition makeup products that are sadly no longer available that I did not purchase, but now that they're no longer available, I'm like, darn it, I really should have purchased those. So if you are interested in seeing more videos like this, you should definitely subscribe to my channel and check out other videos that I've posted and will be posting in the future. If you like this video, you should leave a comment with more suggestions for other videos I can film. And with that, let's jump into the video. So the first product I want to talk about is a recent one, and this is the Charlotte Tilbury Fire Rose Quad. This product was a limited edition product for the 2020 holiday season, and I did not want this product until I saw some reviews on YouTube, particularly from Britt Clark and Morgan Turner. They reviewed the Fire Rose Quad, and they were like, this is the best Charlotte Tilbury formula ever. It's a little bit different than her other quads. Like, it's a beautiful palette. Like, you need this. Oh my goodness. And I was like, oh man, okay, yeah, I need it. But when I went on to the Charlotte Tilbury website, because it wasn't available on Sephora or Cult Beauty or like any of those other websites, it was out of stock. But I did a Google search and I was like, oh, it's in stock on the Canadian website and the Australian website and the British website, but those don't ship to the US. So I was like, oh man, what am I gonna do? And then Morgan Turner said, oh, you can call the Charlotte Tilbury like flagship store in LA, and if they apparently have some in stock and they'll be able to ship it to you. Well, I called and they were out of stock. So I'm really upset I missed out on this. I really want to try Charlotte Tilbury's eyeshadow formula, and I thought this would be the perfect palette to try out her formula. But on a brighter note, I actually do have a Charlotte Tilbury quad on its way to me currently. Cult Beauty was having a sale a few days ago where if you ordered below 100 pounds, you could get 15% off your order, even on sale stuff. And if you ordered 100 pounds or more, you could get 20% off. Because they're a British website, that's why their currency's in pounds. So I ordered the Walk of No Shame quad, and this was actually on sale on Cult Beauty's website, and I got an additional discount. So I thought, you know what, that's good enough for me. But if the Fire Rose Quad comes back in stock, which I really hope it does, even though it says discontinued on the website, I'll probably pick it up just because I'm really curious about that formula in particular. The next palette I want to talk about, actually palettes, because these were palettes that were sold in the set, are the Melt Cosmetics Amor Eterno collection. So this came out last year during the holidays, and I really regret not picking these up, especially the Muerte palette, which is the darker of the two and has just like blues, greens, and just like all these really dark, deep, grungy tones. I really regret not picking that up. I didn't pick these up at the time because I was like, oh, they're really expensive. I've never tried Melt before. I'm not sure if I would like them, you know, that kind of thing. But everybody loves these palettes, and now I'm like kicking myself for not picking up those palettes, especially the Muerte one. Actually, the last time I checked, the Vita one, which is the lighter one with like the oranges, reds, and greens, like lighter greens, that one is in stock on the Melt website right now. And I was like, oh wow. And I thought about picking it up, but I think out of the two, I would get both if they both were available, but out of the two, I would rather have the Muerte palette. So I was like, oh well, that one's probably never coming back in stock. But that palette, I just regret not buying. Everybody loves the formula. Everybody says it's like the best Melt palette. And I know I really would have loved having it in my collection and playing with that color story, but it got away from me and I'm really sad about it. The next item is not an eyeshadow palette, and this is also something that came out recently and I tried getting it and I couldn't. And this is the Pat McGrath and Supreme lipstick. This actually released twice. It released in the fall on Supreme's website, and it sold out in like literally like, I think it was 30 seconds. It was crazy. And then it released a few weeks ago again, and I completely forgot about it. And by the time I got on the Supreme website, it was gone. So I was like, oh yeah, I've gotten plenty of like limited edition hyped up releases, you know, that sort of stuff. Like I bought the It's Freaking Bats palette, and I got that before it sold out. Like I've bought plenty of things before they sold out. Like I have fast fingers, like I'll be fine. No, I was not fine. I really underestimated the hype beasts, which are like basically Supreme fans that like basically make bots that will just like buy, like just wipe out the whole like inventory that they have. This apparently happens with every single Supreme release. So I feel like with that release both times, it wasn't really makeup lovers that were getting their hands on the lipsticks. It was basically people buying the lipsticks, using bots, and then reselling them for like 3 times the price. It was absolutely insane. And I was like, you know what? It's a cool thing to have. It would have been really cool to have like this, you know, super limited edition lipstick, but I am not gonna pay like $100 for a lipstick, and I am not going to battle like all these Supreme bros that basically will buy anything that the brand releases. So that was kind of a bummer. I thought it would have been a really cool collector's item, but I'm not too sad about it now. The next product is, again, not an eyeshadow palette. How surprising. And this is the Anastasia Beverly Hills and Amarizi highlighter. Everybody loves this highlighter. And when it released, I was like, oh, I'm really pale. It's gonna be too dark for me. It's gonna leave a cast. I'm not gonna buy it. And then it went out of stock. And then it came back for a really short period of time, and I looked at it and I was like, should I buy it? And I was like, no, again, I feel like it's gonna be too dark on me. Like, I don't need this, whatever. And then after that happened, I had a friend who has the highlighter applied on me, and I was like, darn it, I really like this, and it's not too dark on me, even though I'm extremely pale. And like, I should have bought this thing, and it doesn't seem like there's really very many good dupes for it. So again, that's something I missed out on, and I don't think it's gonna be coming back. So oh well, another super hyped up makeup product that I don't have in my collection. This next product is from the same brand, but this palette has very mixed reviews, very, very mixed reviews. And this is the Anastasia Subculture palette. So this is the sister palette to the Modern Renaissance, which is the oldest palette in my collection and probably the most well-loved, considering that like basically, I think it's like 5 or 6 shades in it I've hit pan on, and like all the other ones I've made really significant dents into. The Subculture palette, I feel like is very controversial because when it came out, it was super, super powdery. People were saying the mattes were like blending into each other and like were turning muddy, and the formula wasn't as good as the Modern Renaissance and all that. But I feel like some people had that opinion, and then some people I think like got newer batches of the palette where like the formula was changed slightly, and they were like, oh yeah, this palette is great, I love it. Like it's harder to work with, yeah, but it's still a good palette. And I feel like if I had that palette in my collection, in particular those like newer ones with that formula that apparently was improved, nobody really knows, I feel like I would have been willing to put in the extra work to make those shadows work, just because I really, really like the colors in there. I thought it was a really unique release, especially for the time. And even now, I feel like the color story ages really, really well. And I think I would have really enjoyed having that in my collection. And when it came out, I really wanted it, but I waited to see YouTube reviews, and when they were super negative, I was like, nope. But now that the palette is discontinued, it seems like a lot of people who have held on to theirs really enjoy it. So again, oh well, but I do have a lot of grungy tones in my collection, so I feel like I'm not missing out on too much. The next palette is from a brand I've never tried, but I really want this palette, and it's never coming back. And this is the Kaleidos Deep Sea Luster palette. Angelica Nikovist has this palette, Karen Harris has this palette, and they've basically said like, we're never getting rid of it, you can pry it out of our cold dead hands, and I can see why. This palette is just beautiful. I love the colors in it. The packaging is stunning. I didn't know about Kaleidos at the time that this palette was available and in stock, so I really had no opportunity to get it until it was too late. But I just feel like this palette is just a beautiful release, and Angie and Karen and other people that have it say it's just an amazing formula. And I would love to try it because I feel like out of all of Kaleidos' releases, this is the one that's just the most attractive color story wise to me. None of their other palettes really attract me very much, or nearly as much as this one, but I can't get it because apparently some of the pigments that they use for those eyeshadows have been discontinued, so it is literally never coming back. But I will keep dreaming about it and maybe in an alternate universe Victoria has this palette and she loves it, but in this universe I do not have this palette, so another one I missed. The next palette is one I had on my Christmas list like 3 years ago. Yeah, it came out in 2016. I just looked at my notes. So this is the Kat Von D / KVD Vegan Beauty, which is now what they're called, but at the time they were called Kat Von D. And this is the Metal Matte palette. When this palette came out, I thought it was really interesting, and I thought the colors were just really unique, and the whole like idea of it where there's like a metallic version of the shade and then a matte version of the shade was just something really interesting, and it was something I really wanted to try, and I knew I liked Kat Von D's eyeshadow formula. So the Metal Matte palette is one that I asked for Christmas that year. I didn't end up getting it, and because of that, and I think by the time that I knew I wasn't going to get it for Christmas, it was out of stock. It was just something I never ended up having in my collection. So this is one that I don't really think about nowadays. Like, I don't pine after it now because I have plenty of shades in my collection that are like this. But at the time, I didn't own very many colorful eyeshadows, and I also just had a lot smaller of a collection, and so I thought this could fill a hole in my collection. But it's not something I think about now, but I think Victoria 3 years ago would have really enjoyed that palette. So the last product, and this is again something I haven't thought about in like 3 years, but when I was thinking about this video, I was like, oh yeah, I remember those. And these are the L'Oreal and Balmain lipsticks. Again, I feel like this is similar to the Pat McGrath Supreme lipstick. I wanted this because it was a collector's item and because it would have been really cool to have in my collection as a makeup lover. So L'Oreal and Balmain came out with a collection of all these different lipsticks. It had this like special packaging, and I just thought it was beautiful and I really wanted to try them, but I think I went into a bunch of drugstores near me and I just could not find these. And so I was like, okay, I guess it's not meant to be, and I never picked them up. But I don't think about them nowadays, but when I was thinking about this video, I remembered those lipsticks and how much I wanted them at the time, and it was definitely something that got away from me at the time. All right, those are all of the ones that got away, all of the makeup products that I either I'm still pining after or really wanted at the time but was not able to get my hands on. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you liked this video, please like this video. If you like me, please subscribe. And if you have anything to comment on, any video ideas, anything you would like to see from me in particular, please leave those in the comments down below. Those video ideas are really helpful for me as I try to create more content for my channel, especially content that you all want to see. So again, thank you for spending part of your day with me talking about makeup, and I hope that I will see you soon on my channel, and I also hope that you all have a good rest of your day. Bye!